Let's look at how biodiversity conservation on farmland has been promoted in the European Union and what it would take to make it successful. After all, the Union is a major producer of agricultural goods also in the global market. It also presents its farming model among most sustainable in the world. But what do European farmers know about nature on their fields, and do they value it? Now, in the European Union, just as many other large agriculturally producing countries, the agricultural production is heavily regulated through policies and public subsidies. This means that farmers are not entirely free to choose what they can and what they cannot do on their privately owned land. Under the Common Agricultural Policy of the European Union, farmers received about 38 billion euros during the period of 2014-2020 for volunteer activities to protect environment, including biodiversity, and to use resources efficiently. This is many times larger than the combined national funding given to the environmental protection. Farmers who receive such public money, called agri-environmental support, can, for example, protect or restore a wetland among fields, manage grasslands so that they have diversity of plant species, keep traditional breeds of cattle or sheep, plant old varieties of crops, create grassy margins along field borders, or retain and manage hedges, stone walls, and tree groups. They can also protect bird nests during farming operations, and many more. Many of these measures have been developed in collaboration among farmers, scientists, and administrators to ensure that they work. Yet, a lot of money are channeled also in activities that do not make sense to farmers, or activities that are designed to attract farmers, but with poor efficiency for the environmental protection. What is more, even much higher sums under the Common Agricultural Policy support further intensification of agricultural production at expense of biodiversity. This way, the policy gives conflicting signals to producers, and biodiversity often is a victim. There are many positive examples from across Europe that show that conservation efforts can maintain and enhance biodiversity and save species from disappearing from the countryside. There are also many research studies that criticize such subsidized management on farmland as having at best mixed ecological results, or even being harmful. As long as there are money, farmers care for biodiversity, but they stop once money runs low or prices for cereals go up. This caring is thus becomes short-lived and dependent entirely on monetary reward. The heart of the problem is that conservation in agricultural areas, just like conservation generally, is a true social challenge. It is not a problem of having sufficient ecological knowledge, but above all, of deeply engaging people around the idea of conservation, of putting biodiversity into the core value of social organization. Only through the active support of the farming community, that is, farmers, advisors, local administrators, that agricultural policy for conservation can be effective in the long run. This happens only if farmers and other actors first understand the challenge, that is biodiversity loss, and second agree that they can be part of solving it. Evidence from several countries show that most farmers by now accept that what they do on their fields have profound impacts on species, also those that are not targeted by agricultural management. Do farmers agree about the decline of biodiversity then? The evidence shows that by now they mostly do. Unfortunately, biodiversity as a term doesn't easily translate to people outside of academia, despite it being in use for decades. For example, many researchers discovered that using the very term biodiversity complicates common understanding. Other terms in various languages that refer to natural diversity or wildlife may work much better. Studies show that farmers avoid thinking of species harmful to their production, that is, pests and weeds, as part of biodiversity. Even if those species can be beneficial in some ways, for example, many pests are also important food for birds, and weeds can protect soil from erosion. But such indirect benefits are seldom noticed. Many studies also demonstrated that public payments work best if farmers do things they feel positive about, rather than just working for financial reward. For example, farmers know and in some way value certain species as part of their heritage or tradition, such as white storks nesting on rooftops, or swallows as harbingers of spring. In countries where many formerly common species of birds rapidly declined, many farmers had a sense of personal loss once such species disappear. For example, lapwings or swallows. Something I remember so well from my childhood is not there anymore, and I miss it. Focusing on such species in conservation may work better, especially if a payment is based on actual numbers of such species. That is, the sum depends on the ecological result itself and not on what must be done or must not be done. You can explore examples of such so-called results-based payments for conservation on this site. Well, however, such feeling of personal loss does not generally extend to less conspicuous or visible and known species, and lots of such are among invertebrates, or they live in waters and soil. And yet those species are among most important groups also for production. They maintain soil fertility, they provide pollination. Their conservation will depend, therefore, on farmers' understanding of those important roles. There is one serious caveat about such studies on knowledge and attitudes, though. It is very difficult to generalize from them. Even if researchers invite a randomly chosen group of farmers to participate in their study, most often than not, people who already have some interest in the topic, for example, concern about biodiversity, are likely to join the research. And so it is in fact impossible to say what do a totality of European or Finnish farmers know about nature in their fields, or how they, as a diverse group of human beings, value it. Our results may paint a rather optimistic picture. This also stresses the importance of diverse approaches to conservation. For some people, a public subsidy will be an incentive, and for some, perhaps a label for nature-friendly production will work better. For some producers, it is also through a more direct connection to consumers a change can be induced. Yet, in some cases, only a strict legal protection, even against immediate private interests, can save a species or a population from extinction. As a general principle, to change food production towards maintaining biodiversity on farmland, the society should aim to influence farmers' motivations and behavior in the ways that are engaging and not threatening to their identity of being producers of food. Or, in words of some researchers, we should aim to place farmland biodiversity in the hands and minds of farmers. Conservation should not be shifting a blame, but a shared responsibility. And this is a task for all of us, because all of us eat what farmers produce. So go and meet your farmers. Let them know that you value not only potatoes, but also butterflies on their fields.